welcome to our MINDFULGym on Zoom last episode. So we have two more topics to cover. The final two MINDFULGym tools. The first one is Mindful Rain, and the other one is on self-compassion. Okay, Mindful Rain. So this is another mindfulness tool that we can use to help us to face challenges. Last week we also learned the AAM and mindful vitamin to help us cope with changes and challenges. So this is another tool. So we got a bonus tool, another tool to help us befriend challenges. The principles are more or less similar to AAM and mindful vitamin, but the model or the explanation are slightly different. But the principles are more or less the same. So in case you don't remember the AAM and mindful vitamin principles, at least we have another model today. So yeah, it's like a revision, you know. So this RAIN principle is actually originated from a meditation teacher by the name Michelle McDonald. Okay, so it's based on that. So Mindful Rain is an acronym. So R stands for something, A stands for something, I stands for something, and N stands for something. Yeah, I'll give you an overview, then I will go into it one by one later. Yeah, and while explaining RAIN to you, I also take this opportunity to review all the MINDFULGym tools that we have learned from lesson 1 until lesson 8 today, and I'll remind you on how we can integrate all those tools in the Mindful Rain model. Yeah. Okay. So R stands for recognize or acknowledge the stressful thoughts, feelings, and situation. In short, is recognize it. Recognize it. So everything starts from awareness. Everything starts from paying attention. If you still remember the AAM that we learned last week, R, which is recognize it, basically is the same as the A, the acceptance in the AAM model. So that's R. Okay. That A stands for allow the unpleasant experience with self-kindness. So in short, it's called face it. In short, is face it. And this is similar to, again, the acceptance, but at a slightly the deeper level, acceptance of the AM, allow it. So first one, recognize it. Second one is face it. Then I stands for identify our needs and resources to cope with our challenges. In other words, to solve it. And N stands for not alone, not permanent, not that bad. Okay? This is a principle of normalizing it. I think it will be easier if I give you a specific example. I think all of us are going for our vaccination. So a lot of us are having the COVID vaccination related stress. So it's good if I use that as an example. Yeah. Okay. So let's say we are going for our COVID vaccination. I'm sure many of us experience stress. So under R, we need to recognize that I'm having stressful thoughts, stressful feelings related to the COVID vaccination. Yeah, so R is recognize it. Recognize that there is stress. Okay. But recognize it is like recognizing that there's a visitor, somebody knocked at the door. So recognize is like opening the door and recognize, oh, there's a visitor at the door. Okay. A is face it. Face it is sort of inviting the person to come in. Inviting a person to come in to face the stress. So I'm having stress, I'm having worries, I'm having tension, I'm having insomnia related to COVID vaccination. That is allowing. Okay. And I is identify our needs. Why am I worried about the COVID vaccination? What are the challenges I have? Is it that I'm not sure about how to go to the vaccination center? Is it that I'm not sure of the procedure? Is it that I need transport? Yeah, so we got to recognize our needs. Okay, what is the problem? We need to recognize our need and to identify resources, how to solve it. And all words have different problems. Some will be the transport problem. Some are not sure how to register for the vaccine. Some do not know how to fill out the form. Some you might not know whether if you're on medication, whether it's safe or not safe to take the vaccine. So all those are under identify our needs. Okay. Of course, N is to normalize it after the vaccination. So whatever stress we have related to the vaccination, we remind ourselves, hey, I'm not alone. Many people are going for the vaccination, and many people have stress related to the vaccination as well. Okay, and we also remind ourselves it's not permanent. Okay, not permanent. This will also pass. In fact, I sent my sister for her first COVID vaccine yesterday at the PWTC. Okay. So of course, there was some stress, but today it's over already, so it's not permanent. Okay, and we remind ourselves not that bad. Okay, the process was quite smooth. Everything settled within 1 hour. That's how we normalized our stress. Yeah, so that's the basic principle of RAIN. If you remember the AAM and mindful vitamin that we learned last week, you'll notice they're actually more or less the same. It's just different way of explaining. Okay, let me go a little bit more detail into each of the steps. Yeah, so R is recognize or acknowledge the stressful thoughts, feelings, and situation. The keyword is to recognize it. This is similar to the acceptance in the AAN model. As I mentioned, the first step is like recognizing at the door there is a visitor. So there's a stress. There are stress symptoms. There is a stressor recognized as a visitor. Quite straightforward. Okay, straightforward. However, sometimes there are challenges in recognizing our stress. I will share with you the 2 common reasons why we may have problem in recognizing our stress. Okay, the first one is when we don't pay attention. Okay, very often we are not paying attention. We are not paying attention to how our mind feels and how our body feels, and that can be a problem because if we don't pay attention to stress, often by the time we are aware of stress, sometimes it's already too much, and that is difficult to handle. Yeah. So the antidote to paying attention is let me remind you the mindful stop tool that we learned in MINDFULGym Part 1. So in mindful stop, basically we are taking a pause on and off throughout the day and ask how does our mind feel, how does our body feel. In fact, right here, right now, you can actually take a pause and ask yourself, how does my mind feel? How does my body feel? That's the whole purpose of the mindful stop, to remind us to take a pause, ask how our body feel, how our mind feel, take a mindful breath, and then move on. Yeah. So that's very important for us to pause, to stop on and off in our life, to pay attention to how our mind feel, how our body feel. Okay. So mindful stop is the way. If you want to increase your level of awareness, mindful stop is a very basic level of awareness. All we need to do is just ask how does my mind feel, how does my body feel, then take a mindful breath and move on. Okay. If you want to increase your awareness, then you can use the mind mirror principle. Mind mirror, this one helps us to be aware of more things. Instead of just generally how the mind feels, how the body feels, we can be aware of our stressful thoughts, our stressful feelings, stressful behavior, and our stressful body. Okay. Yeah, so that's the way to remind us to be aware of how our mind feels, how our body feels. Okay. The second challenge to recognizing our stress is ignorance. Ignorance. Another word is lack of wisdom, lack of understanding. Yeah, yeah. Sometimes we are aware of our stress symptom, but we may not understand our stress symptom. This is very, very common in my clinic. I have lots and lots of patients with what I call the semua sakit syndrome. So Sakei syndrome basically means psychosomatic symptom, which there are a lot of bodily symptoms. There's pain all over the body, but the actual cause is actually due to stress or anxiety. Yeah. So the problem is not so much of not paying attention to the symptom. I mean, all my patients who come to me, they are aware of the symptom. They're aware of symptom, but they may not be aware of the symptom with understanding. So there's attention, there's awareness, but there's a lack of understanding. So if there is enough understanding, is enough wisdom, then we're able to understand that actually the stress symptom, the stress symptom are due to anxiety, and all we need to do is just learn to cope with the stress, and then all the physical symptoms will just disappear. So we don't need to go around the hospital to visit different doctors, different specialty to do all sorts of tests, which are unnecessary. Yeah. So I share with you 2 reasons why people might have challenges in recognizing stress. So the first one is because not paying attention. So the antidote is to learn to pause and ask how the mind feels and how the body feels. The second reason for not recognizing stress is because we don't understand. And the antidote today is to try to apply wisdom. Pay attention with wisdom, pay attention with understanding. That's all for R, to recognize it. Okay, let's move on to the second one, A. Allow the unpleasant experience with kindness. So this one, we allow the visitor to come in. Just now is only open the door and recognize stress. A is open the door, allow the person to come in, allow the visitor to come in, allow the stress to come in. Okay, sounds simple, but very often there are challenges in facing it. Okay, so what are the common challenges? I will share with you 2 challenges. Okay, one challenge is actually fear. Why do we have difficulty in facing it? One of the reasons is fear. Like let's say the COVID vaccine. I need to go for COVID vaccination, but I may not be able to face the fear or face the worry or face the discomfort because I have fear. And that is understandable. Why would I want to face it if it's scary? Makes sense, isn't it? Yeah. So the antidote is actually with kindness. Yeah. So by now you have learned many MindfulGym tools. So if we can apply the MindfulGym tools, then we can cope with the fear. So if we can cope with the fear, then we can proceed to step 3, which is to solve the problem. So the first hindrance is fear. Yeah. So it's important to apply, to practice all the MindfulGym tools that we learned from lesson 1 until lesson 8 today, so that we can learn to befriend the fear, can minimize the fear, face the fear, face the problem, and then solve the problem. So talking about the MindfulGym tools, okay, let's do a little bit of revision. Yeah. So step 2 is allow. In order to allow, we allow to accept the fear, we need the MindfulGym tools. Yeah. So let's recap the tools we have learned. So mindful body stretching, this is very useful for relaxing the body. Mindful breathing, this is very useful for calming the mind. We also learn the butterfly hug and mindful breathing, which is useful for reducing emotional distress. We have the kindful healing hand for psychosomatic pain, and we have the mindful EFT tapping to help us release the negative energy in the mind body. Okay, and not too long ago, we also learned the cognitive diffusion method, a method to unhook negative thoughts. So it's important to remember and practice this MindfulGym tool so that we can overcome our fear. We can minimize our fear and face the stress and face the problem. The second obstacle to facing our fear is actually shame. Okay? So this is another reason why we may have difficulty in facing our problem and facing stress. For example, you may have again fear, worries related to COVID vaccine. Okay, and if you think you are the only person with such fear, if we think this way, naturally we don't reach out to other people. If we can remind ourselves, okay, if we remind ourselves that whatever problem we face, either mental health problem or fear related to COVID vaccine or fear related to the COVID infection, if we're able to remind ourselves that I'm not alone, so knowing that we are not alone, that helps to reduce the feeling of shame. Okay, so that is related to the mindful vitamin that we learned earlier. I'm not alone. So if we can constantly remind ourselves, I'm not alone. In whatever problems we have, whatever challenges, whatever worries we have, we remind ourselves, I'm not alone. Then that helps us to face it. Yeah, so the antidote to shame is reminding ourselves that we are not alone. The antidote to fear is to apply all the MindFulGym tools to help us cope with the fear. Okay, let's move on. So step 3I is identify our needs and resources to cope with challenges. In short, is to solve it. Right? After we have recognized the stress, after we are able to face it, then it's like in this step is by inviting the person, inviting the stress to come to our house and yam cha, have a cup of tea and discuss how to solve a problem. So under solving problem, we have to, now our mind is clearer, our body relaxed, mind is clearer with all the mindfulness practice. Then we got to ask ourselves, what are our needs? So if you want to go for your COVID vaccination, what are the problems? What are the needs? Okay, and what are the resources? What kind of help do we need? So this is what we do in step 3. Okay, very often people have difficulty in identifying their needs. Okay, so what can we do? Very often people will tell me, I'm not sure what I need. I'm also not sure what kind of resources are available. I'm not sure what kind of resources I need. Then my suggestion for you is talk to someone. Okay, talk to someone. Yeah, find somebody whom you are comfortable talking to. And very often in the talking process, we are able to identify our needs and resources. If we just think on our own, you think and think and think and think, there's no solution. We are stuck. When we talk to somebody, we sort of see things in different perspectives. Hopefully, in the process of talking, we can discover our needs. We can discover what are the help and resources available. Yeah, so talk to someone. Don't just think on your own. In the process of talking to somebody, it's important for us to focus on solution. It's important to focus on solution. There's a very nice quote here to remind us on that. The quote says, it's better to light a candle than to curse the darkness. So we got to focus on solution. Of course, when we are very, very stressed out, we can express our frustration, we can vent our feeling, no problem. I mean, all of us are human beings. But after expressing and talking, venting our stress, we have to move on to the problem-solving step. Okay, always focus on the solution. Light a candle. Don't complain about the darkness. Then some might say, what if there is no solution? Yeah, sometimes, yeah, good. We talk to somebody, then we see things in different perspective. We can find a creative solution. But what if there is no solution? Then usually when I'm in that state, I have this very nice quote from the Dalai Lama to remind me. Okay, and this quote says, if there is no solution to the problem, then don't waste time worrying about it. If there is a solution to the problem, then don't waste time worrying about it. Okay, that's a very, very nice saying. Yeah, that's exactly what we should be doing. Okay, if there's a solution, put in effort, solve it. Okay, look for the resources, look for help, and take action. If there is no solution, we got to learn to accept it. Okay, learn to accept it don't waste our energy. Don't waste our energy to worry about something that is not within our control. Yeah. Let's go back to the COVID vaccine example. The reason I'm using this COVID example again and again, I think all of us are going through the process of COVID vaccination. You probably notice with regards to the COVID vaccination, there are many things not within our control. Okay? For example, we can't choose the vaccine we want. And we can't choose the venue for the vaccination. We can't choose whether to have side effect or not to have side effect. We can't choose whether we have serious side effect or not serious side effect. So many things are not within our control. But there are many things that are within our control. For example, when I brought my sister for her vaccination yesterday, and I brought my mom for vaccination a few weeks ago, many things are within my control. I'm still able to drive them over there. Okay? My sister can help my mom with the registration. If there are any side effect, I can advise them to take Panadol. I can bring them to the hospital. Okay? There are many things we can do. Even if there is nothing we can do, there's always something we can learn about it. Always something we can learn about it. Okay, let's relate to the mindful vitamins again. Yeah, so under the step 3 of identifying resources and identifying our needs and resources, we should keep on remind ourselves, what can I do? What have I learned? What can I do? What have I learned? What can I do? What have I learned? For example, yesterday, after sending my sister for the vaccination, I learned a few new things. Okay, I learned a few new things. For example, the first time I brought my mom to PWDC, I used a different road to come home. Yesterday, when I sent my sister to the same place, this time more familiar, I used a different road to come home, and I discovered the road that I used yesterday, there was less traffic because there was no roadblock. So I learned something. Yeah. So always focus on what can I do, what have I learned, what can I do, what have I learned. That's under the step 3, under I, identify needs, identify what can do about it. Once we have identified what we can do, then we can apply the mindful PDF and knowing. Okay, so mindful PDF and knowing is about how to do it. Okay, earlier we asked ourselves, what can I do? Okay, once we know what can I do, then the next step is how to do it. Okay, how to do it, we apply the mindful PDF and knowing. So we remind ourselves to prioritize. Prioritize which is more important, which is less important. Remind ourselves to delegate. If you cannot delegate, at least divide the task. So going for vaccination, there are many steps to prepare. Break the task of vaccination into smaller tasks, different tasks, and do them one by one. Then focus, do one thing at a time. So all these are under I, identify our needs and resources to cope with challenges. Okay, after that is done, then we go to the last one, N. Okay, so remind ourselves we are not alone, it's not permanent, it's not that bad. Still remember in the last week's session, I mentioned that pain is inevitable in life. Pain is inevitable, that means cannot be avoided, but suffering is optional. Suffering is optional. So if we can remind ourselves that whatever challenges we are having, we are not alone, it's not permanent, it's not that bad. In a way, we are normalizing, we are neutralizing and minimizing the pain. So it's still pain. It's still pain. Remember in the MindFulGym session 1 itself, I already said MindFulGym is not designed to help us to get rid of stress. MindFulGym is to help us to befriend stress, to cope with stress. So if you have this principle, then the stress doesn't grow into more severe suffering. Of course, that is related. These 3 words are not alone, not permanent, not that bad. They are related to the mindful vitamins of I'm not alone, it could have been worse, and this will also pass. So they're all related. So after we apply all the rain principle, okay, there's another very nice saying here, very inspirational saying. It says that there's always a rainbow at the end of every rain. There's always a rainbow at the end of every rain. Yeah. Okay. But however, very often we forget to pay attention to the rainbow, isn't it? We go through problems, we go through challenges, we go through stress. Yeah. So we overcome the rain. But after overcome the rain, actually there's a rainbow. We forget to pay attention to the rainbow. So how can we pay attention to rainbow? The pay attention to rainbow means pay attention to the things which are good, the things which are well. Then we have the Google what went well Yahoo exercise that we learned earlier. So this exercise helps us to pay attention to the good things in life. Yeah. So when life is unpleasant, when the present moment is unpleasant, we use the MindFulGym tools, AM, mindful vitamins, and mindful rain to help us to be kind to the present moment. Okay. If the present moment is pleasant, when there are rainbows, after the rain is over, when it's rainbow, we learn to be grateful using the Google what went well Yahoo exercise. Okay, so that is rain. So again, I summarize. So I've talked quite a lot. Let me summarize. So the mindful rain is an alternative model to the AM and mindful vitamin to help us to cope with stress, cope with changes and challenges in life. The principles are more or less the same. It's just a slightly different way of rewording them and explaining them. Okay, so R stands for recognize or acknowledge the stressful thoughts, feelings, and situation. In short, is recognize it. Okay, open the door, recognize it. A is allow the unpleasant experience with self-kindness. Face it. Face the unpleasant feelings, thoughts, sensation. Face it with the MindFulGym tools. I, after the body is relaxed, after the mind is calm, then we identify our needs and resources to cope with challenges. So we learn to solve it. Okay. After it's done, in end, we remind ourselves that whatever challenges we are facing, we are not alone. It's not permanent. It's not that bad. So in that way, we minimize our pain. I'll end the sharing the presentation with two very nice songs that which are related to the mindful rain principle. Two very nice songs to remind us how to transform rain into rainbows. Okay, so the first song is called one is called Laughter in the Rain. The other one is called Singing in the Rain. Yeah, I'll play and show you the tune. Later, we'll send to you in the MindFulGym Telegram group. Two very nice songs. Okay. This one is Laughter in the Rain.
Strolling along country roads with my baby. It starts to rain, it begins to pour. Without an umbrella.
So that's the first song. The second one, a little bit older than the first one, is Singing in the Rain. Singing in the Rain.
Singing in the rain, just singing in the rain. What a glorious feeling, I'm happy again. I'm laughing at clouds so dark up.
Okay, so with that, I end the presentation on Mindful Rain. I hope you learned something useful to help you cope with changes, challenges, stress, and problems in life. Yeah, Jasmine, we'll stop here for Q&A for the participants to clarify anything related to Mindful Rain.
So far, there is no questions asked in the Slido.
Okay. we have self-compassion. So this is just a short one. So this is last two. It's on self-compassion. Self-compassion is about how to relate to oneself with kindness and wisdom. So this will be the last part. This is an extension of the kindness. So kindness is a component of the mindfulness. So the several ways to be kind to ourselves is an extension of the kindness practice. This one is focusing on the self-kindness more. So I'll be sharing with you 7 ways of how we can be kind to ourselves when we are facing problems and challenges in life. It's much easier to speak about this at the end of the MINDFULGym program because a lot of the Kung Fu, a lot of the strategies and steps are already covered earlier. So what are the 7 ways? Okay, so number 1 is to remind ourselves that self-love or self-kindness is V-love. Okay? One of the challenges for a lot of people in loving themselves is a lot of people think that if I treat myself well, if I'm kind to myself, if I'm compassionate to myself, that is selfish. And that is a misunderstanding. That's a wrong view. So we need to have the right view, we have the wisdom. When we are kind to ourselves, we also be kind to other people as well. Okay? So when we, during the pandemic, when we put on our mask, when we do social distancing, when we go for our vaccination, we are not just protecting ourselves, we are protecting our others as well. So as we protect ourselves, we protect others. So we need to remind ourselves again and again to think in along these lines, along there. So any me time, having time for ourselves, me time, self-compassion time, self-love time, is not selfishness. Okay. In fact, we are taking good care of ourselves so that we can take care of other people and we can take care of one another. Still remember in one of the earlier MINDFULGym sessions, I think during the session on Kindful Healing Hands, Kindful Healing Hands, I actually introduced this song. Okay? If you cannot remember, I'll sing this song to you again. This is a Rasa Sayang song, but the kindfulness version. Okay, this is how it sounds. Rasa sayang, hey, rasa sayang, sayang, hey, hey, may I, may you, may all be happy, happy, happy. May I, may you, may all be happy, happy, happy. So this is my favorite song. I sing this song every day. Wherever I go, even in my dream, before I sleep, in my dream, I always sing this song. And you notice the lyrics here, may I, may you, may all be happy, happy, and happy. So I'm wishing myself to be happy, wishing you to be happy, and wishing all to be happy. Okay? And I'm relating this song to the self-kindness practice. Okay? When we wish ourselves well, when we are kind to ourselves, when we are treating ourselves well, it is not selfishness. Okay? When we treat ourselves well, we are also treating other people well, and we are treating one another well. So the first way to be kind to ourselves. Second way to be kind to ourselves is self-soothing. Self-soothing, yeah. So now we have learned so many MINDFULGym tools. We can use mindful body stretching, mindful breathing, EFT tapping, kindful healing hands, butterfly heart. So these are various ways that we can use to soothe ourselves physically and mentally. Okay, that's how we can be kind to ourselves. Yeah. So self-kindness is not something philosophical. It's something very practical that we can do, something for us to do. The third way to be kind to ourselves is by recognizing our strength. So this is the extension of the Google What Went Well practice. Google What Went Well practice. So we learn to recognize our strength. Instead of finding fault with ourselves, we learn to recognize our strength. What are the things you are good at? What is your signature strength? Yeah. So this is another way to be kind to ourselves. The fourth one is to learn to talk to ourselves empathetically. Talk to ourselves empathetically. This is not talking to other people. This is talking to ourselves because it's self-kindness, right? So we learn to talk to ourselves in a kind way. A lot of people, they have no problem in talking to people in nice and empathetic way, but they may have problem in talking to themselves in a kind and gentle way. So one of the way to overcome this, I have this suggestion. Each time when you are talking to yourself, you can imagine as though you are talking to your friend. So instead of talking to ourselves, because sometimes when we talk to ourselves, we can talk to ourselves in very harsh ways, you know. But you can imagine we are talking to ourselves. It's as though we are talking to somebody. We are talking to a friend who is in need, or a friend who is in trouble. So we imagine we are talking to another friend, and that friend is actually us. But we imagine we are talking to another friend. Very often we can talk in a more compassionate way. Okay. Another way of doing that is to relate to a compassionate figure. Okay. You can relate to the Buddha, relate to Kuan Yin, relate to Jesus Christ. So we relate to a compassionate guide. Then we talk to ourselves. So sometimes with this kind of creative visualization, it's easier for us to talk to ourselves in a kind, gentle, and compassionate way. Okay. The number 5 way to be kind to ourselves, learn to lower our expectation and allow mistake. This is particularly important for people who have high expectation, who are perfectionists. So we learn to lower down our expectation, and that is a way to be kind to ourselves. For example, throughout this MindfulGym Zoom program, I have learned, I have made a lot of mistakes. There were a lot of hiccups here and there, but I always remind myself not to beat myself up, because this is the first time we are running the MindfulGym program through Zoom. We have learned a lot of ways. We have made mistakes, but we have learned various ways to improve on our program. So that's how we can lower our expectation. Number 6, learn to express our needs. Learn to express our needs. So when we express our needs, we are helping, in a way, we are helping people to help us. So we need to learn to see things in that way. Very often people will think, if I express my needs, I'm troubling people. If I say what I want, I'm troubling people. Well, learn to see things in a slightly different way. When we express our needs, actually it's easier for people to help us. Okay, and there's also a way to be kind to ourselves and a way to be kind to other people. So we express our needs, easier for people to help us. So we're kind to other people, we're also kind to ourselves. Okay. And of course, last, again, back to one of the mindful vitamin, whatever problems, even the problem of you have challenges in to be kind to yourself, you're also not alone as well. So a lot of people have this problem of beating themselves up. You are definitely not alone. So these are some of the ways you can try on how to be kind to yourself as an extension of the kindness practice. Yeah. So with that, we have covered all the MindfulGym tools, all the Kung Fu that we have in the MindfulGym program. So we'll end it with the mindfulness personal practice plan. So you have heard a lot, you have learned a lot, so many tools. So how are we going to apply the tools? Okay. Before that, let us review. We actually learned quite a lot. So in Mindful Gym Part 1, we learned the mindful body stretching, which is good for relaxing the body. Mindful breathing, which is good for calming the mind. We have the HTC, mindful stop, mindful meow, mindful thinker, which are all used on a daily basis to help us to communicate, to help us anchor our attention in the present moment. We have mindful PDF, nowing, butterfly hug, EFT tapping, healing hand. These are all very useful when we are having emotional distress or psychosomatic pain. That's part 1, the one we covered in the first 4 sessions. In the last 4 sessions, we have the breathing meditation. We combine the body stretching breathing followed by breathing meditation so that we can calm our mind further. Okay? And we also learn the beginner's mind, mindful photography, eating, Google Web and Well to help us to appreciate the present moment. Okay, then we have a few tools: the mindful rain, AM, mindful vitamin, and hooking talks to help us deal with the challenging moments. Yeah, so we have covered quite a lot. So it's time for us to contemplate and see how we can come up with a unique plan. That's why I call it MP3. MP3 stands for Mindfulness Personal Practice Plan. So how can we come up with a plan that suits us? Yeah. So I'll be giving you 2 examples of plan. So you can look at an example and then reflect how you can apply it in your life and come up with your own plan. Okay. So plan A, so you can consider is plan A is practice mindful stretching and breathing, followed by chanting and breathing meditation in the morning. Stretching, breathing, alternate between stretching and breathing. Once the body is relaxed, the mind is calm, then we go into breathing meditation, 5 to 10 minutes to further calm the mind in the morning, every morning before we start our day. Okay. Then we can have the mindful stop at HTC at least 3 times per day to help us to focus attention and to help us to pause and relax the mind and body throughout the day. And in the evening or before sleep, we can practice the mindful breathing, the body grounding, lie down on the bed or lie down on the floor to help to relax the body, to help us to have a peaceful sleep. Then mindful walking and photography, maybe we can do during the weekend. These are weekdays, maybe very busy. You only do that during the weekend. Gratitude workout, Google Web, we can do maybe once in every 2 weeks to count our blessings, to review the good things in our life. And during challenging moments, then we can try to apply the AAM, 5 mindful vitamins, and the mindful rain. So that is one example how you can integrate the MINDFULGym practices in your daily life. If you don't like this plan, then we can have a look at another plan, see whether this one suits you better. This one, the simpler, mindful stretching and breathing in the morning without the breathing meditation. Then mindful stop HTC 3 times per day to take little mindful breaks. Then the mindful communication, PDF nowing on the daily basis. This one cannot be avoided. So on the daily basis, we need to talk, we need to listen, we need to do things. So we apply this. Stretching, breathing with the breathing meditation only weekend. Because breathing meditation takes a longer time, maybe you can do it over the weekend. Then sing the happiness and hear and now song when you're stressed out. Yeah, for some people, they find the AM, mindful vitamin, a bit too difficult. And keep it simple. Just sing the happiness in the here and now song. Okay. The rest, or psychosomatic pain, you can choose whatever tools you like. So for you, I can't help you to come up with your plan other than give you an example. You have to sit down, contemplate, and come up with your own plan. Yeah. To self-kindness, how to avoid being overly kind to the self. In real world, some people may not understand self-kindness, especially boss at work with high expectation. Yes, it's true. In the real life, they are nasty people. They are people who expect a lot from us. They are people who contribute to our stress. So the more we need to be kind to ourselves. In fact, there is no such thing as being too kind. In fact, we need to balance it because in real world, people, the environment can be very harsh. The people around us can be very harsh. They can scold us. They can be very nasty. They can find fault with us. So we have enough of that. So when we are with ourselves, we need to be kind to ourselves to balance that. Okay? Imagine the external world is scolding us and we are also scolding ourselves. Then that is very, very painful. So the more we need to be kind to ourselves.
One more question, Dr. Peng. Do you think this COVID pandemic will pass?
Of course, everything will pass. This shall also pass. That's all. Thank you for asking a very simple question. If you ask me when it will pass, then I cannot answer you. If you ask me when it will pass, then I cannot answer you. It will definitely pass. But definitely it's not going to be the last pandemic as well. I'm sure there's another pandemic to come. Yeah, definitely will pass. Surely. Slowly but surely. That's one of the coping statements I have, I said, slowly but surely it will pass. Slowly, surely it will pass. So when I do my EFT tapping, I'll say, slowly but surely it will pass. Slowly but surely it will pass. Slowly but surely it will pass. Yeah.
I have fear and shame, the obstacle of processing emotional pain. Is it because I lack of determination or motivation to improve?
I think the problem is more of a lack of wisdom rather than lack of determination and motivation. Very often in emotional world, challenges in the emotional world, we need more wisdom rather than willpower. We need more wisdom rather than willpower. Wisdom and kindness. So the shame, try to relate to the shame and fear with kindness and wisdom, not willpower. Willpower is like, I can do it, I sure can do it one, boleh, can. That is the determination and motivation. Very often we are disappointed. Okay, try another method, try with kindness. Kindness means we recognize the fear, we recognize the shame, we soothe ourselves, we do butterfly hug, we do mindful breathing, we use kindful hand to soothe ourselves, remind ourselves that the shame, remind ourselves we are not alone. So all these methods are applying kindness and wisdom, instead of applying willpower.
The next question is, if one always feels guilty, to be kind to self increase self-guilty, how can we help to reduce the guilty?
It's okay to feel guilty. You're not alone. So sometimes when I practice self-kindness, when I have my me time, when allow myself to relax, I also feel guilty. Okay?
Yeah.
Jasmine, do you also feel guilty sometimes?
I always feel guilty when I have chance to relax.
Yes, I also have that. Not all the time, on and off I do.
Yeah.
So you are not alone. Jasmine has that feeling. I also have that feeling. So we learn not to fight the guilt. So again, fighting the guilt is using motivation and determination and willpower. The more we try to get rid of the guilt, the more we try to kick the guilt away, the more we try to get rid of guilt, the guilt will bring all the abang adik, brothers, sisters, father, mother, children, grandchildren.
Yes. Even more guilty at the end.
Even more guilty, multiply some more. So we learn to make love with the guilt. We learn to relate to the guilt with kindness. It's okay to feel guilty. Jasmine also feel guilty. I also feel guilty. The MINDFULGym trainer, instructor also feel guilty. It's okay. So let it come, let it go. Yeah, that's the way.
Yeah. When you say to recognize the feeling, we should not associate with it as I am angry or my stress, but note it as just anger, stress, sadness, and etc.
I suppose the question is it like that? Yes, you're right. Is more helpful to recognize the feeling, for example, anger or stress, as just anger or just stress. Remember there was a session, I used the ping pong ball, the simile,
Yes.
to represent the emotion.
Yes.
So we say there is anger, there is stress, there is guilt, there's anxiety, there's depression, there's insomnia, there's fear. Okay? So why we do that? The reason is we try not to personalize it. When we say I am angry or I am guilty, then it will spread to I am not supposed to be angry, I am not supposed to be guilty, I'm not supposed to be scared. So that is personalizing it. So we try to take away the I, take away the mind. Take away the I, take away the mind, and remind ourselves that whatever states we are in is because of various causes and conditions. Many past experience. For example, if you are very critical, you're very critical to yourself. It could be due to your childhood experience, the parenting experience, your past experience in your workplace. It's due to all these various causes and conditions. It is there. You're programmed. The emotions have been programmed. So we learn not to beat ourselves. So I feel guilty, but it's not I choose to be guilty because of many things happened in the past.
Yes.
Correct. So when we recognize it, we try to depersonalize it, saying that there's anger, there's guilt, there's depression, there's anger. Instead of I am angry, I am stressful, I am stupid, I am useless.
Okay, that's all 5 questions are posted. Oh, one more. I am in a mommy learning group. I felt want to leave group. I wonder why, as I am facing problem in my family. Is it about shame to stop me to grow? How to overcome?
Let me read the question. See whether I understand. I'm in a mommy learning group. I interpret as you are in a parenting. I suppose you are in a parenting group. Okay. I felt want to leave the group. That means you feel uncomfortable with the group. You want to leave this this parenting group. Okay. I wonder why I'm facing problem in my family. This one I cannot make a connection. Maybe if your question is if you want to leave the group, why you want to leave the group? Why you are uncomfortable with the group? Shame could be one of the reasons. Shame could be one. Okay. For example, because I do not know the details. For example, it could be because in the parenting group, in the group they're talking about you need to, as a good mommy, you need to do this, you must do this, you should do that, you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do that. Maybe all the should and must make you feel shameful. Maybe I'm not sure, but it's something for you to reflect. Maybe it's the shame. So how to overcome? If you want a very effective way to overcome, you need to face it. You need to name it, face it. You use the mind mirror. Use the mind mirror to identify the thoughts, identify the feeling, identify the behavior, identify the body sensations. Then only you can have a very definite answer. Yeah, it could be shame. It could be shame that make you feel uncomfortable. It could be shame that make you feel uncomfortable and feel like leaving the group. It's something for you to explore, but I cannot be very sure because I do not have the detail.
Right. Sometimes I feel sad in my life. 10 years ago, I got depression. 10 years later, I experienced this COVID pandemic. Feeling bad, especially during my bad day.
I suppose it's just a sharing and there's no question. I don't see a question, but I can also share is yes, I also feel bad. I also feel sad on and off. I don't feel good all the time. I hope you don't graduate from this program having the wrong impression that, or if you practice mindful gym, your day every day will be fine, every day will be happy. No, I have sadness. I also have fear. I also have the unpleasant emotion and sensation. The only difference is with the mindful gym tools. I learned how to cope.
Yes.
So you are not alone. You're not alone. I hope you don't feel shameful and want to leave the group. The mommy group, at least the mindful gym group, is normal to feel sad.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. One more question, Dr. Pang. I don't have enough motivation to do certain things. What should I do? What is your opinion on this?
I don't have enough motivation to
do certain things.
hey, maybe you're having too high expectation. Maybe the things you want to do is not realistic, too big. Maybe you can consider applying the mindful PDF, prioritize, delegate, and the D1 is divide into smaller tasks. So whatever you want to do, try to divide into smaller tasks. Smaller tasks. Okay, for example, let's go back to the COVID vaccination again. To go for COVID vaccination is a very big task, you know. There are many steps involved in the vaccination process. Okay, so you say, oh, want to go for vaccination. Think about it also, you're already tired already, you know. But if you break the vaccination process divide it into many smaller tasks. So list it out. Maybe one step, install the MySejahtera app you have not installed yet. Or ask around friends about how to register. Okay. Then if you're registered already, find out where is the center. If you do not know how to go to the center, find out where is the center, how to go to the center. Ask whether there are friends who can bring you over there. Okay. Ask the doctor if you're on medication, can you take the vaccine even you're on medication? So break them into smaller tasks, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and do one at a time. That will be easier.
I like to share gratitudes. For me, this eight weekends is really useful. Purely because my work is very stressful, so I always look forward to these 2 hours because it kind of put a stop, and I actually switch off my handphone and just focus on the Zoom. So it helps me to say, okay, maybe you call it running away from reality, but for me, it's that 2 hours at least I'm escaping, you can say, and it's also allowing me to recall all the tools that I need, and I'm really grateful. Thank you very much.
Dr. Pa and Jenny. Yeah, according to the previous question, saying that feeling guilty. So you gave some advice that break the task into small tasks, isn't it? I think it's a very good suggestion. But apart from this, what should I have? I mean the attitude. The not the methods, but the attitude. Yes.
Attitude always link back to the MindFulGym's definitions of mindfulness. Okay? Mindfulness means remembering to pay attention to the present moment with kindness, beginner's mind, and wisdom. So the 3 keywords are kindness, beginner's mind, and wisdom. They are the attitude component of mindfulness. So whatever issues we are dealing with, doesn't matter is shame or guilt or external problem or internal problem, that is the same attitude that we apply. Okay? In other words, mindfulness is relationship. Mindfulness is relationship. It is relating to whatever, doesn't matter. It can be relating to ourselves, it can be relating to somebody else, it can be relating to our thoughts or our feelings like guilt, it can be relating to anything. But the principle, the attitude is to relate with kindness, beginner's mind, and wisdom. So that should be the thinking process. So for your question, I will help you to help yourself by showing you the process instead of giving you the solution. So the thinking process should be, how do we apply kindness, beginner's mind, and wisdom in relating to guilt? In relating to guilt. Okay, for example, just example. Okay, Kindness will be, as I suggested earlier, break into smaller tasks. That's being kind to ourselves, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay. Beginner's mind will be when we break into smaller tasks, we do it with a sense of curiosity. Don't have a fixed mind that, oh, if I break into smaller tasks, it's definitely going to work. We explore, maybe breaking into smaller tasks work. Even if we break into smaller tasks, which task to start first? Do we start with the relatively bigger one or the relatively smaller one? Okay. Maybe we do mindful body stretching, breathing, then only do the task, the effect will be different. That's beginner's mind. Being adventurous, try it different way. Then wisdom. Wisdom is with the understanding. Understanding that there is no one best method for everyone. So you have to try it out. Maybe divide into tasks works well for me. Maybe for you, dividing into tasks doesn't work. Okay. Wisdom will also help us to understand where does this guilt feeling come from.
Right.
Is it from our ex-bosses? Is it from our parents? Is it from the society in general? Is it from our previous school teachers? That's wisdom. So there's no end to it. There's no end to it. Yeah, but that is a process. Whatever we are dealing with, we relate to it, pay attention to it, relate to it with kindness, beginner's mind, and wisdom. That would be the formula. Thank you for asking this. The formula is more important. You know, the problem can change. The problem can be relationship problem, can be a health problem, can be a work problem, can be emotion problem, different type of problem. But the principle is always the same. We read it, pay attention to it with kindness, beginner's mind, wisdom.
I'm an occupational health doctor. So I just want to share, I think this is under the attitude of wisdom.
Yes.
So in the pandemic, we have behavioral scientists, and they have done a lot of studies and research and survey on people. They found that a very good quality to have for all of us in this pandemic is called adaptive resilience. That means we should be flexible because things keep changing, and resilience means we need to be a bit tough. So we all want that, and one of the main causes that can give us adaptive resilience is recharge. So don't feel guilty because all this is recharge. And Dr. Pang, your techniques of recharge are proven by behavioral scientists to be one of the best techniques. So what you're teaching us, mindfulness, breathing, stretching, all this is all part of recharge because we all need to recharge. And they found that if we don't do anything, even just relax, just take it easy, doing mindfulness is very good for our mind and our body. We will be more creative and we will be stronger facing the pandemic. Yeah, thank you very much, Dr. Pang.
Hi, Dr. Pang. This is my sharing actually. Actually, my business are facing losses since March, and then now we cannot open the shop since 29th of May. So it's like the hand is stopped, so like our mouth also stopped because I don't have income. So what I did is I sell the dessert. You know, I cook the tong soy to sell. So one of my customer, he come to tell me that sorry that I can't repurchase your dessert anymore because due to this MCO extended, I have no more extra money to buy the dessert. So yeah, I feel like it's true that everyone is facing income problems, and a lot of my friends, they are facing like what should we do next, because we don't know when we can open the shop, and the rental in the shopping mall is very expensive. So we don't know that whether we have the rentals or we still have to pay the rental. So it's a lot of uncertainty, you know. So yeah, it's very stressful actually. But I see that selling tang soy also very stressful because people like don't have enough money already. So I feel like, what should I do next? You know, it's like, huh?
Yes, good question. What should I do next?
Yes, yes.
But sometimes when the mind is very confused, we ask what can I do? Sometimes the what can I do next is not the word, you know. It is the feeling behind the word, what can I do next? So if you pay attention, then you notice the what can I do next got two types. One type is keep on asking, what can I do next? What can I do next? What can I do that? It's not a real question. It's more of a complaint. It's a rumination. It's a ventilation, which is okay. It's not wrong. I mean, it's not wrong. I mean, it is a stressful time for everyone. It's okay to vent. It's okay to express the emotion. But after that phase, you could ask the real what can I do? The real what can I do is really asking a question, is identifying needs and identifying resources. Okay.
There's a question asked in the chat box from Sulin. Dr. Pang, from self-soothing, is it okay not to be okay? Same with, is it okay to be not okay?
Definitely. Sometimes I soothe, I do mindful breathing, I do mindful body stretching, I do everything, still feel not nice. I try AAM, I try mindful vitamin, I try mindful rain, I try to talk to somebody, I try everything, all the tools, all the kachang, everything tried already. It's still feeling horrible. Then my final kung fu, final tool is it's okay not to feel okay. It's okay not to feel okay. And so far with that method, when we say it's okay not to feel okay, actually, if you look deeply, it has the attitude of kindness. When we don't try too hard, we don't pressure ourselves too hard, we just leave it. Sounds like giving up. It's not really giving up. It is actually not trying too hard. When we don't try too hard, okay, I try all the tools already, still cannot. Leave it, leave it, leave it. Just let it be, let it be, let it be. That is actually kindness, wisdom, and beginner's mind, all three. Highest level. All three. By kindness, by not pressuring ourselves to feel better, by reminding ourselves it's okay to be not okay, that is kindness. Wisdom is understanding that whatever we resist will persist. Whatever we accept, it won't last so long. Beginner's mind, this is a totally different strategy. It is not the usual strategy of fighting motivation, willpower. Beginner's mind is a very different way of dealing with things, a very different way of relating to things. That is beginner's mind. So that is beginner's mind, kindness, wisdom at the ultimate level.
I have two questions. First question is like, first question is actually, I'm actually looking forward to back in sports again. And I know you play badminton as well. And this question has been in my mind quite a while, because the last time when I resumed my badminton playing, I was trying to practice mindfulness while I smash people when I'm playing badminton. So that I've tried to be very aware of my feelings, my emotions, but it's so difficult. My difficulty is like when I'm trying to pay attention, then the shuttlecock is already down on the floor, or I'm paying attention of how to reflect myself, like reaction time, but it's just a little bit difficult . So how do you do it? I know you play badminton. Like, do you also mindfully playing badminton? Yeah. Question number 2 is
One by one.
I'm very.
I cannot remember. Yeah. I find that in practicing mindfulness, sometimes it's more helpful to conceptualize mindfulness as attention training. Sometimes it's more useful to conceptualize it as a relationship. I know you joined MindFulGym quite early. The early phase of my sharing, I tend to highlight it as a form of attention training. Mindfulness is attention training. That is true. But I'm not sure whether you also notice lately, I sometimes change the word. Mindfulness is relating to the present moment. They're actually the same thing. It's just the different emphasis. Different emphasis. So I invite you to try out two ways of seeing mindfulness. They are the same thing, but they're seeing at the different facets. One is attention training, one is relationship. So maybe in playing badminton, instead of paying attention to the shuttlecock, it's more of how we relate to the other players. I don't know whether you play single or double. I don't have the stamina to play single. So I play double. So that in that context, it is not paying attention to the shuttlecock, It is how I relate to my partner, my double partner, and how I relate to my opponents. How can I relate to them with kindness, beginner's mind, and wisdom? For example, sports sometimes you win or it does give a nice feeling isn't it? I cannot lie to you, I don't like to win So if I'm honest with myself, I like to win I think the one of my badminton kaki is inside Kan, you hear Kan?
It's not here, right?
Okay, one of the participants is Kan, my badminton kaki. So how I apply kindness, beginner's mind, wisdom? If I win, okay, if I win, I'm happy or not because I win you, that's not the reason. If I win, usually because I can run around, I can splash very nice. It's the excitement of able to drop here, drop there. It's not because I want you to lose. So I'm not that. Okay? So if I win, I rejoice, I'm very happy. But you cannot win all the time. So sometimes they win. So they win, I think good, happy. I let them happy. So sometimes I win, sometimes you win. Sometimes I happy, sometimes you happy. Good. You happy, I happy at a different time. So that's kindness. That's also beginner's mind, isn't it? There's also wisdom, isn't it? That's seeing things in different perspective. No need to you win all the time. Not necessarily play badminton or after I attend MindFulGym, I must always let people win. It can be somewhere in between. I win, I'm happy. You win, also happy. And I win not because I want you to lose. That's not the reason. I'm happy because of the challenge. Okay. So take home message, try to conceptualize mindfulness in the form of relationship instead of just paying attention, and try out these two ways of looking at it. Actually, are similar, it's just that there's slightly different emphasis. Okay, second question.
Thank you, Dr. Pan. That's why, when it is when there's no one else, there's no social interaction of kind of sport, walking, stretching or yoga, is so much more easy to just relate to ourselves. And then when it comes to social related sports, there's just simply so many things to be concerned or to pay attention to. So I think instead of pay attention to so many senses, the relational part can be the main thing that can really as an anchor to practice mindfulness in as well. We can still be mindful when we're very excited or when we are having the euphoria of fun, can be also can also mindful also. Okay, thank you.
When you are euphoric, when you're excited, when you're euphoric, it's still possible to be kind and be curious, be adventurous, and be wise, isn't it? You may not be able to pay attention, am I right? It's a dense statement for you to reflect.
Yeah.
You might not be able to pay attention, but we can still be kind, have beginner's mind and wise.
Mm.
Then no need to pay attention, it's okay. Just be kind and be curious and be wise is good enough.
And enjoy the moment of the euphoria with the three angels attitude.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Second question is, Dr. Pang, I'm actually very grateful that this type of second part of the lesson of revision for me, it happens during the MCO period. It actually helped me anchor down during this period, and it's different with practicing with so many people around, even though it's not physically, but we know there's at least people together in this, and it's actually quite helpful, and it feels connected also lah. Just one question is that do we have just a revision class, any upcoming just revision for fun, just for connection?
Revision can, yeah, but I notice revision only works well if you all participate. The revision doesn't work well if the one talking is me. I keep on talk, slide after slide, two after two, kung fu after kung fu. Usually what works well is like what's happening now. It's what's happening now. There is expression, there's sharing, there's saying things which are confused. Then from the confusion, we get things a bit clearer, see things from different perspectives. Well, you're still using the same term. We still use the word body stretching, breathing. We still use the word mindfulness, attitude, kindness. But as we discuss in this way, the depth of the understanding grows. Yeah, so I'm happy to have revision classes, provided that the style of the revision is something like what we're doing now. Instead of me talking and talking and talking and talking.
Question answered slide.
Yes. Conditional yes, yeah. Conditional yes.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Pang. Thank you, Jasmine. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, Yun.
Hi, Dr. Pang. Dr. Pang, how to, can I speak?
Yes, Amy.
Dr. Pang, how to link, because people's human being always live in a group, like always going out, hang out together in the group. But now suddenly it's come to social distancing. It's like 1 meter become 2 meters, okay? So how to link it with beginner mind?
How do you link a beginner's mind?
Yeah, because like suddenly like our life is changed. It's like from group become individual. Like when you see other people, you feel like you're so scared, and then we will run away. Like in the mud, we'll keep a distance. Then like people seeing people, it's like seeing a ghost nowadays. Instead, like last time, people see people was like they were hugged together, or they were talking together. But nowadays, like keep a distance, a very far distance. So how to link it to beginner's mind?
Beginner's mind is seeing things in different perspective, isn't it? Fresh perspective in different way.
Yeah.
So maybe we can learn to see relationship. We should not define relationship in the physical forms. I think most of us are usually we define relationship as very physical. There I am me, you are there, we are 3 feet away, we are 2 weeks away, 2 feet away, you are in Sarawak, I'm in Semenanjung. So maybe we should redefine relationship in a different way. It is not how far physically we are connected. More important is how are we emotionally connected. So instead of seeing the connection as just physical, we see in different perspective, connection can be emotional. Connection can be emotional, not just physical.
Yes.
We can be connected even we are far away. You are in Sarawak, isn't it?
Yes, you forget already.
Tanjung. Physically, we are more than 3 feet away. But we can still be emotionally connected.
Yes, yes.
On the other hand, we can have a person sitting right in front of us or right beside us, less than 3 feet. But we might not be emotionally connected, you know.
True, true.
So that is one way. There's one way of seeing things in different perspectives. So you have to, Amy, you have to continue to mix with us, you know, all the MINDFULGym kaki here. Because we see differently, you know. All these MINDFULGym kaki, we see things differently.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Pang.
Yeah.
So, Dr. Pang, how about the Telegram? The Telegram will be remains or will be removed after these sessions?
Continue.
Okay.
Hmm.
Okay, thank you.
I will consider having sort of booster sessions.
Oh, good.
But the booster session will be something like the Q&A session, sharing discussion. If I ever talk, if I ever present slide or talk, I should be talking for maybe just 10-15 minutes.
Oh,
Talking
okay.
for 10-15 minutes. Yeah, because I have nothing new to talk, you know, because all the tools are shared. But the process is like that. You see, I don't know how to cook. It's like I don't know how to cook. You can share with me all the cooking tools. You can give me the best kitchen, give me all the tools. Oh, very good. Very good. This tool, I can cut like that, one can cut like that, can do like that. But if you do not know how to use the tools, no point. Similarly, I've shared with you so many tools, you know, MINDFULGym session 1 and 2. So many tools. So you got the tools already. But the next step is to learn how to use the tools. Else you'll be like me, you know, put me in the kitchen, you give me all the tools. The tools are all very good, but don't know how to pakai.
Okay.
I'm happy to have as many revisions as you want, provided that the format has to be, I just talk a little bit, 10-15 minutes. Then you ask questions, you share your experience, share your confusion. Not just share success, share your confusion, share your realization. Yeah. I believe that is a more effective way.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Pang. Thank you.
You talk a lot already, let other people talk.
Okay, I my mouth.
Dr. Pang, I think the pandemic situations in Malaysia is getting worse. And up to certain extent, personally, I have phobia to go out. Even I have no choice, I need to go out. I think I up to the extent like I have that nosophobia. So what can I do in these situations? So when I'm doing the social distancing in queuing up to buy things, I will spread loving kindness to all the people around me instead of don't know who got infected, who have the possibility to spread the virus. So I make it as a habit to spread loving kindness to all the people around me while waiting in the queue. And also sing Rasa Sayang song and send the best wishes to everyone. So that actually can calm my emotional in the way of fearful feeling. So that's what I practice.
Very good. Do that as well. That's a very good example. Thanks for sharing, Jasmine. So instead of focusing dialogue, you die first or I die first, will I be the next one to die?
Yes.
Instead of doing that, we sing Rasa Sayang song.
Yes.
I sing the Rasa Sayang song almost throughout the day. Rasa Sayang. When I wake up early in the morning, even before I get up from my bed, that is the song I hum in my mind. Before I go off to sleep, I also hum the song in the mind. Okay, and I notice many times, even in my dream, I'll be singing the song. In the hospital, outside the hospital, driving, I think that should be the way how we practice, and that is under kindness, what we beginner's mind, because there's a lot of creativity in practicing.
Yes.
That's a very powerful antidote. Those of you who wants to know the biology behind that, actually when we sing the Rasa Sayang song, we radiate loving kindness, we share good wishes, express our good wishes to others. Our body produces a hormone known as oxytocin.
Yes.
Oxytocin,
Yes.
which is produced in large amount when mothers give birth to children and when mothers are breastfeeding. The good news is even we are not breastfeeding, even men who are not giving birth to children, even men who are not breastfeeding, if we practice this loving kindness practice, it can also raise the oxytocin level. Oxytocin reduces fear, an antidote for fear. In fact, they are doing experiment. They are coming out with the oxytocin spray, you know. So in the mental health world, they're coming out with the oxytocin spray. So if you're scared, the spray, that's the oxytocin, then you can help to reduce fear. Our MindFulGym technology even better. No need to spray. You just in the mind only, just sing the Rasa Sayang song. Fear level. Very effective. So you go for vaccination, instead of look around, you die or you die first, I die first, don't know who will die. Really loving kindness to everyone, to the RELA staff, to the young one, to the old one, to the medical officers, to the volunteers, to ourselves, to everyone. And to the politicians as well. The politicians are working very hard. Doesn't matter whether they do the right thing or wrong, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, may all be well.
Yeah, may all be well. Yeah, that's the way. Very good. Rasa Sayang.
So Lynn requested, let's sing the song, Dr. Pang.
Together.
Let's try with beginner's mind.
Very good. I was about to say that. So we sing together in Zoom. So beginner's mind, that means we let go of the outcome.
Right.
May sound good. It may sound horrible.
Yes.
It may sound half-half. It may sound not recognizable. It doesn't matter.
Right.
Okay.
Yes.
1, 2, 3.
Rasa sayang,
rasa sayang,
may you be
happy.
May you may all be happy.
Okay, it doesn't sound as good as our usual in-person MindFulGym session.
It doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. It's a beginner's mind.
Yeah.
You can
Dr.
sing.
Pang, since we still have 15 minutes, why not you sing Happiness is Here and Now? You didn't teach in the class.
Correct. Yeah. Can.
A very nice song.
Happiness is here and now. I had dropped my worries. Nowhere to go, nothing to do. No longer in a hurry. Happiness is here and now. I have brought my worry, somewhere to go, something to do, but no rain, oh hurry, somewhere to go, something to do, but no rain, oh hurry.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Pang.
So you can sing this song as well. Because sometimes when you go for vaccination, you're so nervous. You want to remember all the tools, I cannot remember. Just sing a song. Either the happiness here and now or rasa sayang. That can help to diffuse the anxiety. Cannot tension, I cannot think what AM, what mindful vitamin, breathing, cannot all forgotten.
So what I would like to share is a few things. One is openness. Second is take one thing at a time. And third is focus on now, at the present moment. What can we do now and what do we have? I can understand we all going through this pandemic. It's not easy. It's quite difficult. Every one of us have our own struggles, including me, myself. How did I actually go through these difficult times? I would say that I have all my friends and family support. That is very, very important because we are locked up in our own house. We, as Amy said, how can we actually get connect with people if we are practicing social distancing? As Dr. Pan said, that distancing doesn't mean that we don't have connection. Most important is we need to connect to one another. The same as in this Mindful Gym is the best platform for us to keep one another in support, no matter what happens. But first of all, we have to dare to open up our heart to share our vulnerability, to be transparent. Whatever you need to let out, what I've learned is I let out, sometimes I will feel anxious, I'll have fears, I have uncertainty. What I did, I opened up and called my family members. I want to say something. I want to share with you something that is disturbing me. After I shared it out, I feel like I have done a stretching or a breathing is similar. So sometimes I might need different tools to cope with my different situations. Sometimes I listen to music. Sometimes I need to do yoga. Sometimes I need to do meditation. Sometimes it depends on different situation. I will ask my body what my body's need. So I just want to say one last thing, that we are all in a family, Mindful Gym family. We hope that we can connect to each other, maintain, and you are not alone. We are going through together. That's my sharing. Thank you, Dr. Pang, for giving us this opportunity. It's very precious.
Thank you, Eka.
I have one last thing to share. It's actually about after taking the vaccine, then I experienced the effects like headache and the pains on the body, etc. So I find that like being kind to myself, taking Panadols, and I've observed the pain with beginner's mind. It helps reduces the pain a lot. So
how do you observe the pain with beginner's mind? I'm very curious to learn.
Because it's like the headache, then I feel like what type of headache it is and where it is, and is a bit funny, like it's poking out, or it's like the type of headache, and just observe it, and then after a while you're just like, oh, it's like that, and then you don't feel that painful anymore. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I always like to listen to all your sharings. Thank you for giving me the honor and the pleasure to listen to all your sharing. I like it when to see how you apply the same principle. The principle are always the same, remembering to pay attention, relate to things with kindness, beginner's mind, and wisdom. The basic principle is the same. But when you share with me how you apply it for headache, apply it for vaccine, apply it for loneliness, apply it for guilt, I like to hear such stories. I like to hear such sharings. Yeah, please do that more. If you ever have revision session, booster sessions, need booster, like vaccine also need booster. Mindful Gym also need booster, please continue to share more. Jasmine, I would like to specifically thank you for helping me to coordinate the entire program, 8 sessions. Yeah, especially this is the first time, we are running MindfulGym Zoom.
Yes.
A lot of uncertainties, a lot of hiccups here and there. Thank you for walking with me throughout the journey. I want to give you the honor to say the last words before we end.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I think personally that I gain a lot by practicing mindfulness from the MindfulGym model is whenever I encounter challenges in my practice. I still remember when first time I have the knowledge from practicing the MindfulGym tools. I was very, very diligent until stressed up in the way that too mindful. Everything have to be mindful. If the moment was mindless, I have a lot of self-blame, self-criticism. What's wrong with me? I have been so diligent already, What's wrong with me? So at the end, throughout all the challenges, problems that I met, I noticed that I lack of wisdom in my practice. So I always encourage all the mindful dreamers, make it as a habit, like Kain just now she mentioned, make it as a habit. Yes, that's very important. The habit doesn't come 1 or 2 days of practice. I think a good habit have to cultivate in 66 days. So doesn't need to practice all tools, but every day a little bit, 1 or 2 tools is good enough until you make it as a habit. Only through challenges you will have a better understanding, deeper learning into this MindfulGym workshop. Yes, thank you very much, Dr. Pang, for being a great teacher to me on the part of practicing mindfulness. Thanks a lot.
Thank you again for joining us. We love all of you. Take care.